kind of an exciting evening, bittersweet, but it is nice to see everybody here. Welcome to our friends from the Planning Commission. So if you would, please remember to silence your electronic devices, and please stand and join me in the invocation and the pledge. Lord, as we begin our meeting tonight, we are reminded of all we have to be thankful for. Help us to always remember that you are the source of all that is good and to be thankful for our many blessings. We thank you for the service of Meredith Abel for the past 4 years and ask you to bless her in her future endeavors. We also ask your blessings upon our newest council member, Eric Kravitz. Grant him patience and wisdom as he embarks on a new chapter of public service. We pray especially tonight for the family of Lieutenant Dave Burton and the members of our fire department family as they struggle through this difficult time. Grant them the comfort only you can provide, and may they feel the love and support of their Temple Terrace family as they grieve his loss. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we do have a exciting evening planned with some outgoing council members or vice mayor and incoming swearing-in ceremony, but we do have a couple of items of business to do fairly quickly. It shouldn't take too long, but we don't like to hold up work that city needs to get done. So our first item of business is we have a presentation of awards. We have our friends from the Planning Commission. The Executive Director, Melissa Zornita, is here.
You forgot the fact.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Sorry.
I am completely untrainable because I do that about every other council meeting, and we've been doing this for a year or more now. So we do have a fairly new tradition here where we begin our meetings with a fun or interesting fact about City of Temple Terrace or the region. We started doing that. Councilmember Fernandez had that idea when she came into office. It's a terrific idea. It's been a lot of fun. It's getting harder to do, though, as time goes on. And so tonight, that will be presented by Councilmember Chambers.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Tonight, I'm going to just give you a list of the female elected officials the city's had over the years. And the first one really wasn't elected. It was Maud Fowler when the city was incorporated. She was appointed vice mayor in 1925. Then the records are kind of tough. I want to thank the clerk's office for doing a lot of this research and trying to find it. A lot of the old records had council members. They were called commissioners in the early days. All they had was a first initial and a last name. So unless you do a lot of digging, which I really didn't want to do, we didn't know anything until 1960s. So the first one listed was Audrey Turner, 1974. Nancy Seaver, also in 1974. In 1994, Fran Barford. And of course, later on in 98, Ms. Barford becomes mayor of our city. In 1996, it was Joe Jeter. In 2002, Linda Shaddles. 2008, Mary Jane Neal. And again, I'm just giving you the first time they were elected. Some served only 4 years, some 2 terms. And in 2008, and again in 2022, Allison Fernandez. As I can tell, the only 3 years, 3 times. 2014, Sherry Donahue. 2017, Mayor Mel Jurado. And in 2020, Council Member Vice Mayor Meredith Abel. And to show you outgoing Vice Mayor Abel's work performance, I've got a quick video. Watch that. Oh. So her credentials in karate, she's a 3rd-degree black belt in karate and competes all over the, I guess, United States. I know the Southeast. So I appreciate her help with security up here on the dais all these years. So thank you very much. That's my fun fact.
Thank you. That was good. Thank you, Council Member. really kind of underrepresented. I'm hoping that all those decades that we only have first initials, there were some women also.
I would hope to.
So, yeah, interesting. Now, we will introduce our friends, the Executive Director of the Tampa Hillsborough Planning Commission, Melissa Zornita, and our friend Unica Mills are both here to, we've got these awards recently, but we wanted to bring them here for everybody in the city to see too. So welcome, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having us. Melissa Zornita, Executive Director of the Planning Commission, and Unica Mills, your Temple Terrace liaison. So the City of Temple Terrace received 2 awards at our recent Planning and Design Awards at the end of October. The first one was related to the Temple Terrace Pedestrian Master Plan, and that received an award in the category of redevelopment and planning. It recognized that the pedestrian master plan creates a vibrant, walkable space that enhances quality of life through improved outdoor areas, recreational spaces, and a sense of place. The Temple Terrace Pedestrian Master Plan is a thoughtful, comprehensive approach to redeveloping this area of the CRA and fosters a stronger community identity while prioritizing sustainability and accessibility. We have judges from outside of Hillsborough County help us with these awards, and they praise the project's potential to connect the community through redevelopment, calling it a model for future projects. So congratulations to the city for that one. And then, turn the page here. The next award was presented by the chair of the Planning Commission, Nigel Joseph. He gets to select an award every year, and his award went to the Regional Canine Memorial that sits outside of Temple Terrace City Hall. And that memorial was made possible through a partnership between the City of Temple Terrace and the NAM Knights West Side Motorcycle Club, with the goal of creating a space for the community and law enforcement to come together to honor those brave canine officers. The serene, beautifully landscaped environment invites in visitors to reflect in a place of quiet contemplation and remembrance. It is not only a lasting symbol of gratitude, but also a source of solace for the handlers and the families, ensuring that the legacy of those courageous canine officers is preserved for generations to come. So congratulations to the City of Temple Terrace on the Chairman's Award for the Regional Law Enforcement Canine Memorial as well.
Thank you.
So,
I would like to note that the pedestrian master plan was originally an idea of the vice mayor's, I believe, so that's worth noting.
Perfect time to do this.
One, two, three. More. Thank you.
Okay, council members, has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from our November 19th meeting? And if so, is there a motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion or correction to the minutes? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No nays. Minutes are adopted. Next are persons wishing to be heard on items not listed on the agenda or items on the consent agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit imposed on all comments from the public. We ask that speakers come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. We like to assure the public that during public comment, your concerns are noted, and staff does follow up on these and provides a quarterly report to the council of the outcome of your concerns. So there are forms in the back of the room. I currently have one request to speak from Mr. Loeb. Mr. Loeb.
Good evening. My name is Charles Loeb from Terrace Park, and I do want to talk about a couple of subjects tonight. First of all, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and to keep warm. And congratulations to the councilman-elect. Congratulations to the vice mayor on her future endeavors, and congratulations to the mayor for his having a new term. The first topic I want to talk to you about tonight is the library sale. The library sale did do pretty well under the circumstances. First of all, it was a little bit cold and a little warmer than it is now. Plus, the fact it didn't have this biggest election, which wasn't just my opinion, but also the opinion of one of the people that worked it. Anyway, the thing is that it did net $1,200, and I do think the publicity helped it. The other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, at least under this topic, is about a meeting that they're going to have Thursday night at the Glacier Jewish Community Center. It has to do with future planning for hurricanes. It's being organized by both the Tampa Bay Times and by TICO. But they do want you to have tickets. The parking, both the parking and the admission is free, but you got to get your tickets online. Anyway, there are people that are going to get together who are going to talk, like the head of the county, according to my notes here, the department head of the county on who does the planning and dealing with emergencies. There will also be someone from the Regional Planning Council and representatives to both TICO and Duke. So if anybody is interested, I do want to know it's going to be at the Glacier Center at 522 North Howard Avenue. The doors will open at 5, and it will be 6 to 7:30 in questions, and there will be an audience and who can question. Now, I was not too happy about that when I saw that for a couple reasons. Number one, I thought the Feed Tampa Bay people should be there also, but more importantly, I thought that should have been dealt regionally, like to all the regional community centers. After all, we were all in this together, and we'll all be in this together. And therefore, it should go around, and they should do meetings like this within Lightfoot and other community centers within various neighborhoods. I did call the Tampa Bay Times and did send my message about that because they are one of the sponsors. And if anybody does want to go, I do want to let them know because it's just the day after tomorrow. And thank you. I guess that's about it for now. I do want to talk on 8A, so which I put on there.
Thank you, Mr. Loeb. Next item on the agenda is the second public hearing and second reading of ordinance 1576 to adopt a 5-year capital improvement schedule of projects for fiscal year 24-25 through fiscal year 28-29 and incorporating 10-year long-term improvements for multimodal transportation district for fiscal year 24-25 through 33-34 into the schedule of projects. I will open the public hearing, and Erica Larson from the Planning Commission staff is here to explain. Good evening.
Good evening. This is Erica Larson, Planning Commission staff. This item is the Planning Commission's review of the City of Temple Terrace Capital Improvement Section, CIS, Schedule of Projects Update. This is an action item. Chapter 163 requires that the schedule of projects or the list of projects addressing level of service and adopted in the comprehensive plan be updated on an annual basis. The update would replace the existing CIS schedule in the comprehensive plan with the schedule listed in your packets. Planning Commission staff identified projects in the CIS that affect the level of service. These items make up the schedule of projects. Per the comprehensive plan, the list of 10-year transportation projects is incorporated as part of the schedule of projects. For these portions that were city projects within the first 5 years and specifically affected level of service, those were included in the report analysis in this presentation. And sorry, I forgot to hit the next slide. I don't know. Thank you. Okay. There is a requirement for Basin Management Action Plan BMAP projects to be included. However, per Temple Terrace staff, there are no active BMAP projects that meet this requirement. The update is accomplished by ordinance, which is explicitly permitted under Chapter 163. This is a routine annual update that we come before you each year with this information to support the ordinance. Additionally, the plans of other agencies are incorporated. Displayed is a summary of the CIS projects, which are placed into 6 program areas. The total funding amount for fiscal year 25 through fiscal year 29 is $50.45 million for 157 projects. This next slide shows a breakdown of the level of service project type. steps identified in terms of level of service priorities outlined in capital improvement section objective 1.1. A total of 77% of the projects address replacement of facilities and elimination of deficiencies. Staff also analyzed the CIS schedule with respect to the funding sources, requirements, and the comprehensive plan. Capital Improvements Policy 1.5.5 states that general funds should not be used for those facilities with dedicated revenue sources, such as potable water, wastewater, and solid waste. After review of the general fund expenditures, staff found that none of these types of projects relied on general funds. Capital Improvement Policy 1.5.10 and 1.511 state that all projects within the first 3 years of the city's CIS be funded with committed revenue sources. These include ad valorem taxes, gas taxes, and user charges. Staff reviewed the funding sources and timing and found that the CIS schedule of funding was in accordance with these requirements. On November 18th, Planning Commission found the city's fiscal year 25 through fiscal year 29 CIS schedule of projects consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan and recommends adoption by ordinance. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Larson. Are there members of the public that wish to comment on this item? Mr. Loeb.
Charles Loeb again, still at Terrace Park, and there are a few comments I want to make about it. I was talking to the mayor after the meeting, and he said there was a list of 307 projects, and exactly 0 of them had to do with public transit, despite the fact that HART is in the motion here in the ordinance. I was thinking maybe, especially with the new councilman and certain changes and with hurricane season over all that, maybe it's about time you should be thinking about transit projects and should be within the master plan. There's going to be certain changes within the future within this area by the time this period is over. Among those changes will be the stadium being open, the Fowler Avenue Vision Study with Moshi going in that area west, going along Fowler Avenue with potential development on it, according to the Fowler Avenue Vision Plan, and also the possibility, and rather hopeful, that the Bride Line will be open and toward the idea of a suburban station over there. I do remember when I was going downtown and all that, that they were talking about a bus going down 56th Street, and let's say there was going to Brandon, a premium transit bus. But nonetheless, that if there was a suburban station open, that would make a double thing, so people could get over to and from the rail rather than having to go downtown. However, the city's most immediate concern, though, would be the 5 months from today, I would guess, if not sooner, for your events coming up for the centennial year. May 3rd is only 5 months from today. And I was thinking in terms of transit projects, like an idea I was throwing out, to deal with Sunshine, the Sunshine Bus Network, to try to pick up people who are shut-ins for your May 3rd event. And at the same, maybe see if you could possibly work a deal with them and try to test this out over the water, because they won't have the buses running on the weekend, not normally. So the buses will be available and the drivers will be available, and it would be possible to do that. Hopefully the goal would be to get more people to come to your major event for next year, and at the same time have less traffic and parking problems than you would have, rather than the other way around that you might have if you don't try to put a service along that line for the public here in this community. You also could put designated points for pickup, such as City Hall, the outside parking lot over here. So I do hope, and with the new councilman, that you all will start be thinking about your transit a little bit on this. I hope the lady from the Planning Commission will also think so about it too for this area, and I thank you and good evening.
Are there other members of the public who wish to comment on this item? Council member questions?
I have a comment, not a question.
Well, are there any questions? If not, then Councilmember Fernandez.
My only comment is just for the public that it seems like it might be difficult to to stay true to a capital plan with this long of a duration timeline. And I just want you all to know that this is a plan, but we are able to adapt to changes if we need to do a project sooner, or if a project is no longer necessary, it'll roll off. So it's an adaptable plan. So I just want to make that clear.
Thank you. All right, if there are no other questions, I'll close the public hearing and ask the clerk to read the title of the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Temple Terrace, Florida, providing for the annual modification and update to the capital improvement section of the 2040 Comprehensive Plan for the City of Temple Terrace pursuant to Chapter 163 Florida statutes by modifying and updating the 5-year capital improvement schedule of projects for fiscal year 2024 through 2025 through fiscal year 2028 through 2029, and incorporating the 10-year long-term improvements for the multimodal transportation district for the 2025 through 2034 into the schedule of projects, which incorporates by reference per the comprehensive plan cap policy 1.5.13, Hillsborough County Metropolitan Planning Organization's Transportation Improvement Program, Hillsborough Area Regional Transit Hearts Transit Development Plan, and Hillsborough County Public Schools Facilities Work Program, providing severability and effective date and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there a motion?
Move to approve on second reading ordinance 1576 to adopt the 5-year capital improvement schedule of projects for the fiscal years mentioned.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion of the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No nays. Ordinance is adopted on second reading. Thank you. Is there any carryover council business from previous meetings?
I have 3 items.
Councilmember Fernandez.
I don't know if they're not necessarily carry over, but they're council.
Okay.
So one is, we just recently had a walk with the mayor. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but we've done several walk with the mayors where we've walked through the community and looked at some of the historic homes with some information. Are we able to broadcast those on our channel for people that aren't, the community that's not able to be there?
Are you referring to the actual discussion about the homes? Is that what you're like, the snippets?
Something about, obviously you don't need to broadcast the whole part of the walking from house to house, but it would be nice for us to be able to broadcast the information and.
Yep, we can do that. In fact, I think we had a historical tour from several years ago that our, Ms. Robinson.
We actually have, hi, Joel, Marketing Communication Officer. We have audio while she talks, so we can probably take that audio and put stills over it for now, because we didn't really take shots for a walkthrough, but we do have the audio, so we can probably put something together to put out there.
Okay. It would just be nice to be. I know we're looking for content too. And then I would like to ask about the USF connectability, because obviously those of us who've had USF tickets for a long time, we're very excited about a stadium going there, and I know the school is as well, and we're in very close proximity to the stadium. What can we do? Who can we talk to work with to help give us some cohesive connection to USF, bicycling, pedestrians, golf carts? I don't know what the possibilities are, but I think we all know crossing Fowler is a little bit dangerous. So I am not, obviously not asking for a resolution. I'm just saying if
No, that's a good question. So we've been in talks with USF already ever since the stadium was announced. City manager and I have had meetings with USF. We have another one coming up next week Friday. So we've been in touch with them about noise, about the potential for the impacts on Pleasant Terrace. People might park and leaving the stadium and coming walking through the neighborhoods to get to their cars that are parked on the streets, that kind of impact. We're very concerned about the noise, not so much for football games, because there's only 6 or 7 home games and they're all over pretty early, but the other events and concerts will be at the stadium. So we have had talks with USF at all levels. I've talked to members of the trustees, I've talked to the president, we've talked to staff. I don't remember Carol Post's exact title, but she seems to be in charge of like the facilities. And so we've been plugged into this the whole time. We've also talked about the opportunity for trails, and we've been talking to DOT for 4 years at least about DOT is going to put a 12-foot wide paved asphalt trail along the north side of Fowler Avenue all the way out from River Hills area. I'm not sure exactly where it would stop, all the way down past USF, actually past the mall and all the way down to 275. So that's coming. I don't know, I'm trying to get them to do the trail before they do the work on Fowler. I don't know if they're gonna do that or not. One day they say that they could, and then the next, I don't know. So we're trying to get that trail accelerated. We've also talked to USF about particularly the pedestrian alignment of pathways, because if our trail doesn't align with the breaks in their perimeter fence, then people, you've got this awkward, and so we've had talks with USF about that. So it's a fluid conversation. I mean, I'd love to tell you the outcome, but I don't really know it. But we have been in dialogue with them. You will probably see at some point, we do have some time, so this isn't, at some point, we'll need to have some council discussion about some type of parking ordinance changes that would allow us to get a handle on the parking situation in Pleasant Terrace before it became a problem instead of after. But it's a little early for that, but at some point we'll probably have to have some of those conversations. So I don't know if that's helpful or responsive.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just mainly just to make sure that we're part of the conversation.
We are part of the conversation.
And then my last item has to do with the tree canopy. I know we have done a lot of analysis about the number of trees we've lost, et cetera, and we are a tree city. And I don't want an answer right now, but I would like for us to be thinking about how we can replace some of the trees lost with planting in the responsible locations and the correct tree, and how we can help through our tree program, the residents who might want to be replacing, because I know that a good number of the trees that we lost also were in proximity to power lines, which took the power lines down, and maybe they weren't the right tree for that location. Anyway, as part of our tree program, if we can maybe have some method of residents being able to find out what's the best tree for that location in conjunction with Tampa Electric, and make sure that we're not encouraging people to put the wrong tree in the wrong place.
So, Mayor, also, just as a reminder too, the council appropriated money in this year's budget for a tree study, a canopy study. So we were thinking about this over the summer already, the council was. So we'll work with community development. They're the ones that are putting out the RFQ for the study. We'll also, I'm sure there's already a plan in terms of the best place to plant a tree and what kind of trees in light of our overhead lines. So we'll get that communicated well.
And then this question has come up about undergrounding the line so that we don't have power loss when when the limbs do break and break the lines. But I do know that it's exceptionally expensive.
Yeah, so TICO has a program. They're doing a small section, I say small relative to their footprint, per year. They have funding from the state to accomplish this. I believe that, if I remember correctly, 52% of their total distribution network is underground now. They are working in a number of different communities, including Temple Terrace. They're working on projects to underground, but they're not doing dramatic swaths at a time. They're doing small neighborhood sections.
Okay, and that's it.
Okay. Any other council business? Okay, then we will go into new business and board reports before we get to the recognition of Is there any other new business or board reports to cover before we do the changing of the council member chambers?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like council to consider granting Christmas Eve day off for the employees. We have done that in the past. The last couple of years, the Christmas Eve day has been on a weekend, so it didn't really matter, but we've done that before. I've already spoken with the city manager. The proposal would be to do it like it's been done the last couple times we've done it. The employees get that day off. If they have to work, there'd be no overtime. They would get another day off sometime during the year, so it wouldn't be an impact to the budget. Yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything.
That's pretty much it.
So that's my proposal. I want to do it, usually we do it the second meeting in December, but this way, if we do it earlier, people can plan and maybe get their airline tickets a little sooner.
Just as a matter of protocol, city manager, any unforeseen impacts that might occur?
No, sir. We've looked at this. I did have a conversation with Councilmember Chambers, as he stated, and we found that the policy, if you will, the administrative policy that tied into the council's direction from a couple years ago, made sense to us. We don't see much of an impact, and I'm sure the employees would appreciate it.
So council members, I'm going to ask Councilmember Chambers if he wants to craft that into a motion, but is there discussion before I have him go through the trouble? Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I move that we grant the city employees Christmas Eve day off, following the procedure that's already in place with the city.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Anybody going to vote against this? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nobody dares, right? Okay, motion passes, and thank you all again for everything you do for us. And I hope that you know how much we appreciate the work you do. So, okay, any other new business or board reports? If not, we'll move right into outgoing Vice Mayor Meredith Abel. And so, Meredith, I don't know what to say. I'm not good with this. I'm a little better at welcoming new people on, but it's been a real pleasure to work with you. It's been an honor. You have really come up with some ideas several times that I remember in CRA meetings and council meetings. Sometimes you'd sit there quietly and all of a sudden you'd come up with an idea and the rest of us go, pfft. It just seemed like it was right there, and yet you came up with the idea. So it's been an honor. You have shown great courage at times here. You have always done your homework. You've come prepared. You are well-spoken. You just are very thoughtful in your approach, and you will really be missed. So, council members, anything?
I second that.
Joe?
Yes, thank you very much. You've been a breath of fresh air on some of these items, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
Anything?
I agree. Thank you.
Okay. Anything you'd like to? That's risky now. She's going to be out of office in a couple minutes. And
Well, for one thing, just kidding. It's hard to know what to say. It's kind of saying goodbye. But I'm sort of having flashbacks to my first council meeting when I got sworn in, sitting over there somewhere, and I had this like shaky feeling in my belly. I was so nervous, and I was sitting up there thinking, what have I done? What have I gotten myself into? But it's actually been a wonderful experience. It was often fun. Sometimes it was hard. But it was a wonderful experience. It was a pleasure working with all of you, and all of the staff members, the community. It was great to be able to help people, and I wouldn't have spent the last 4 years doing anything else. I'm so happy that I did this. 4 years ago, my daughter Zora swore me in, and she's here on my way out too. So thank you all. It's been my pleasure to serve on the city council, and yeah, that's
thank
it.
you. Let's give her a hand. So we do have some gifts for you. So I think we're supposed to walk down there.
Okay.
Oh, I left them. I left them. Walked right by them. So, this one is a little scrapbook that the city clerk made up with various pictures throughout the 4 years of different events and little notes in here from us, from most of us. It's actually been about a week and a half since I looked through it, so I don't know exactly what's in here anymore. And then this one, I have no idea what that is. Yeah, you might want to have this.
Is it ticking?
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
You hate me for that, don't you?
1, 2, 3. One more. Thank you.
And you're always welcome. All right. Eric Kravitz, are you ready? Would you please approach the podium? So Eric, I think on behalf of everybody here, we'd like to congratulate you on your election. We look forward to serving with you. It is a big task. I don't think a lot of people, I think you probably have a pretty good idea, but I don't know that the public really understands how difficult's the wrong word, how challenging this job can be. We're not a sleepy little golf town like we used to be. We're a fairly large, not large because we think of Tampa next door, but if you go to throughout the state, we're not a small city. We're considered a medium-sized city. So a lot of moving parts here. Like as the city manager says, I never thought about it like this, but he says like we're running 12 different businesses at the same time, which is very true because every one of these departments is kind of its own thing, and we're running 12 of them at the same time. He's running them, but we're on the board of 12 different companies. So welcome. It's very nice to have you. I think you are being sworn in now by the city clerk, and then you will come up here and have an opportunity to make your remarks. I gotta get out of the way.
I state your name.
I, Eric Kravitz,
A citizen of the state of Florida
citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States of America,
and of the United States of America,
am being employed by
and being employed by
and an officer of
and an officer
the
of
city of Temple
the
Terrace,
city of Temple Terrace,
and a recipient of
and a recipient of
public funds
public funds
as such employee and officer,
as such employee and officer,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly
that
swear
I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and the
States
state of Florida.
and the state of Florida.
I further swear
I further swear
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions
observe the
of the
provisions
charter
of the charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the city of Temple Terrace,
of the city of Temple Terrace,
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the office of
the office of
city council member.
city councilman.
Congratulations.
Councilmember Kravitz, you are recognized. You have the floor.
Thank you, Andy. No one told me I was supposed to give a speech, so I don't have anything prepared, but I'm just very grateful to see so many people and so many friendly faces here, many of whom I met when I was campaigning, and I'm really grateful that you took time out of your day to come out and have a look at this, and I hope it's worth your time, and I hope it was all worth the effort, and I'll do my very best for you and for everyone. And I also want to thank everyone up here for giving me a chance 3 years ago. Most of you voted for me to be on different committees, and I certainly appreciate that, because if you hadn't done that, probably wouldn't have gone down this path. And so if it goes wrong, you have no one to blame but yourselves. So, and of course me. And if anyone wants to hold me to account, my campaign website is still up, so just go and look at it, and you can see if I'm doing what I'm telling you I'm doing or I'm not doing that. So happy to be accountable to all of you, and I'm always available. I'm always available to speak to. Many of you have my email and my personal cell phone, and you can reach me anytime, and that's never been different than it is now, and I hope you don't see me differently now. I'm the same person, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, council member. Welcome aboard. So now I'd like to introduce some very special people, special guests who are kind enough to be with us tonight and sit through this. Please approach the podium. This is, this is my wife, Meg. Most of you know her. And this is my older daughter, Becca, and my younger daughter, Delaney. And they are going to swear me in. So, all right. I'll be back.
It's different from the swearing at. Up front.
Okay, so I've done this a few times. So you stand there, and you stand over here, and you stand over here, face them, hold the Bible. Good? Does
Yeah,
this work for you, Joel?
that's perfect.
Okay. I'm ready.
I state your name.
I, Andrew Ross,
A citizen of the state of Florida
a citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States of America,
and of the United States of America,
and being employed by or an officer of
and being employed by or an officer of
the city of Temple Terrace, Florida,
the city of Temple Terrace, Florida,
and a recipient of public funds
and a recipient of public funds
as such employee or officer,
as such employee or officer,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances
observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances
of the city of Temple Terrace, Florida,
of the city of Temple Terrace, Florida,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of mayor.
of the office of mayor.
Congrats.
Welcome back.
You look older now, second term? So I don't want to start thanking individual people because I'd be here, I'd be here all night. So there are some groups of people that I'd like to thank though. First of all, I'd like to thank the people of Temple Terrace for putting their trust in me. I'd like to assure you that I don't take that trust very lightly. I feel the heavy weight of that trust every day. And I will do the best that I can to live up to your expectations. I'd like to thank my colleagues on the dais. You guys really make this as easy as can be. I mean, you're the best council in the state of Florida. I've said that all the time and I mean it, so thank you. The 3 charter officers, thank you for putting up with me and making my job much easier. The employees. Guys, you know, I've heard it said sometime, I don't remember who said this, but they said, you know, if you're not serving a customer, you should be serving somebody who is. And so that's truly how I feel about you. We don't make and sell widgets here. We're a government. We provide service. We don't sell things. The service provision takes place with you and your teams, right? We don't do that. I don't do finance. I don't do code. You'd be happy with that. Code enforcement, police, fire, all those things. The service provisions are you guys. And so I hope it's clear to you that all of us up here realize what you do. And those touch points for our residents are you and your staff. So thank you for that. It's really easy to be mayor of a city where you have great employees because, I mean, I get complaints once in a while, but it's nothing. I mean, it's minimal. And then lastly, I'd like to thank my family, particularly my wife who has to put up with me. And she doesn't make me go get a real job and make a living, so that's good too. So I don't have to go earning any money, which is really good. So thank you. She puts up with the frustrations and the nasty emails that I get and the reaction, and she gets to hear all that. So Thanks for putting up with that. Thanks for supporting me so I can do this. And so anyway, I do want to say that for those of you who follow what's going on in the city, I know most people don't, and I don't blame you, but we have accomplished more, and you know this, we have accomplished more in the past 3 or 4 years than I don't know how many years before. We are moving forward in this team. We are getting better every day. We are streamlining processes. We are finding efficiencies in our budget to squeeze more out of a dollar. We are increasing our pay and benefits to attract the best talent anywhere. Some of these are folks that we've recruited in from other places. Our attrition rate here among our employees is almost zero now. People don't leave to go to other governments. In fact, we're hiring people away from other governments to come to work here. We are on a path. End of last year, beginning of this year, we partnered with USF and we underwent a strategic planning process. In the spring, when we had our annual goal setting meeting, we set forth annual goals that reflected those strategic priorities that came out of that process. When we entered into the budget cycle over the summer, our funding priorities reflected the project priorities, which went back to the strategic priorities. Next year, we will further that agenda. So we're not just aimlessly coming to work every day and wondering what we're going to do. We're on a path, and we know what this path is. We know what we want to look like in 6 months, in a year, and 2 years from now, and we're on a road of constant improvement. And as I like to say, we're good and we're getting better all the time, and I truly believe that, and I can support that with data. I can show you that the 3 charter officers, our directors, our leadership team, and this council has done a tremendous job. We're doing things with purpose, deliberation, intentionality. We don't just whack-a-mole. Now, it's going to take a while. There's a lot of ordinances to go through. There's a lot of processes that still need to be streamlined. There's a lot of land use things in community development. That's not an easy task. But this council has remained focused on our strategic priorities. I hope that we continue that focus because I think we're on a very good path. And I will tell you that I don't want to say, in 2016, the city still had about $23 million of debt. It started at about $30 million, and we were down to about $23 million in 2016. We had less than $1 million in the bank. And today, we have a little over $10 million remaining of debt, and that's been restructured to 2% fixed. Our CRA, the downtown redevelopment area, is making tax revenue for the first time ever this year. So we're making revenue instead of just paying debt. We are seeing dividends from that. We now have, I don't know what the latest number is after the hurricane, but I think we're up in the 40s millions of dollars in reserves. Remember, we had less than $1 million in reserves 8 years ago. And in the past 8 years, we've lowered your property taxes twice. So I'm very proud of what this city has been able to accomplish. I'm not talking about my accomplishments. I'm talking about city management. I'm talking about the charter officers. I'm talking about the council members. So we're on a good course. There's plenty of work left to be done, and I look forward for the next 4 years of getting some of those things done. So thank you all, and let's get to work. City manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations. I just have one item I'd like to ask Mr. Langfeld to come up. He'd like to talk to you and the community about several leisure service events happening over the next few weeks.
Good evening, Mr. Langfeld.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Carl Langfeld, Leisure Services Director. This weekend is a big weekend in the city, and I just want to take an opportunity to update all of you and everybody in the audience and listening out there in TV land on the things that are going on in the city over this weekend. Starting on Friday evening, There will be the annual Angel of Hope Candlelight Vigil at Riverside Park. That will be from 6:30 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. For those of you who may not know, the Angel of Hope Memorial is a very special monument and memorial in the city that the city is very blessed to have. It is a very somber place for reflection for parents who have lost children due to accidents, illness, or other circumstances. That's a very special event, and it takes place at Angel Monuments throughout the country on December 6th at 6:30 every year. So the city is very blessed to have that monument and that event occurring this week. On Saturday, we'll start in the morning. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Ultimate Run, which used to be called the Ranch Run, will be held. It will be based out of the Temple Terrace Elementary School, and it'll be taking place from about 6 in the morning, and it'll be wrapped up by noon. So those of you out and about on the roads, please be aware that there will be lots of runners out on the streets early on Saturday morning. Moving on from there, at Woodmont Park and the Woodmont Clubhouse from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. is the Selfies with Santa event put on by the GFWC Junior Women's Club, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., and that is a free event to the public, so please go out, have your picture taken with Santa. At 10 a.m. at the Family Complex, the Florida State Senior Games swimming events will start. Events will take place there throughout the day from 10 a.m. until about 3 p.m., and those events will take place on Sunday again. This is the Family Complex's third year of hosting the Florida State Senior Games swimming events. We're very glad to have them back. At 5 p.m. that evening, staging for the Lighty golf cart parade starts, and that will be at the Family Complex. So staging at 5 p.m., the mandatory drivers meeting at 5:45 p.m., and then the parade starting from the Family Complex at 6 p.m. Winter Wonderland at the Woodmont Park and on the first fairway of the golf course takes place on Saturday night from 5:30 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. Please come out and enjoy a wide variety of activities. This is free to the public. The holiday tree lighting will take place at 7 p.m. So a wide variety of activities going on throughout the city this weekend. Everybody should come out and enjoy and come participate and see what we've got going on. If I have any questions,
Questions? Council members? Good, thank you, Mr. Langfield. City manager. City attorney?
I don't have anything to report, but I wanted to say for myself and take the liberty of speaking for my deputy city attorney, Ernest Mueller, that we look forward to working with you, Mayor Ross, in your second term. It's been a pleasure throughout these last 4 years and before that as council person, and look forward to working with council member Kravitz as well and hoping to have a similar experience. Thank you.
Now, you're too kind, because you and I both know it hasn't always been a pleasure. But thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you. Okay, anything else to come before the council? There is a reception in the lobby, and everybody here is welcome to hang around and welcome our new council member. Really a special night for you. I've done this before, but it's a very special night for Eric. So thank you for being here, and we will be adjourned.